Bat pants are one of my favorite costume pieces to make, especially for NPC kits because they're really versatile, they're light and they're flowy, and they can just go on top of other pieces of clothing really easy. They're almost one size fit all or one size fit many. Usually as NPCs, you're playing bandits or something. They're great swashbuckly pants, bandit pants, or if you use something like more like a silk, something flowy, you can use them for elven pants because they kind of look like the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings elven pants style. One time I knocked out about 20 of these out of bed sheets for a local homebrew LARP for all of their NPCs and just donated it to them. But today we are going to make them out of curtains because I found these really awesome linen curtains that I thought were perfect for this project. I am also going to teach you how to do a flat felled seam or flat felled fold. This is perfect when you don't have a serger or you want to make a really strong seam that won't rip. You take two pieces of material, sew them together, encase one of the pieces of material over the other, and then you have this seam that can hold a lot of tension. And this is why they use this seam when making pavilion tents or denim jeans. Wash and iron your material. Always wash items that can be washed when you bring them home from a thrift store. You will need 3 to 4 yards of material or 2 curtain panels. If you are using a curtain panel, you should be able to fold it in half and still wrap it around your hips. If you need more material, use 2 panels and wrap them sideways around your hips. 1 queen or king size bed sheet would work for this as well. Whatever material you are using, it should be wide enough to wrap all the way around your hips with about 12 inches of overlap. Cut off any excess. If you are using curtains, trim off the pull sleeve or tabs on the top. Don't throw these away, you may want to use them as ties for the pants later. Trim off any hemmed edges that you will not be using, but might use as ties later. If you are only using 1 panel, fold in half so the material is the widest it can be, and cut on the fold. I believe we used to call this hamburger style. For the double panel version, just stack the 2 panels and cut the width that is your hip or waist measurement plus 12 inches. Place the right sides together and fold the fabric together so that the sides of the panels are all together and the top and bottom of the pants are the opposite ends and the sides of the pants touch one side. With tailor's chalk, mark 4 inches wide and 11 inches down from the top of the pants. Then make a curved line connecting the 2 axes like a half horseshoe. For the double panel version, at the fold, measure out 4 inches from the fold at the top and 11 inches down from the top of the pants. Connect the lines by drawing a natural curve to connect the 2 axes. Do this 2 times, 1 for each panel. Now cut along the curve. Unfold the material. You should have a full U shape. Line up the 2 U's and pin them right sides together. This will be your crotch seam. I have come to the conclusion that I need a new sewing machine. My Singer HD 110, which they don't make anymore, there's a new version of it. I think they figured out what the problems were with the first version, and they probably fixed them, but I had the first version of that particular line, and it did so well. It sewed a 16-foot pavilion, but it was never the same since, and I've just been fighting with timing issues and constantly breaking my bobbin holder because of those timing issues, or my needle holder keeps getting out of position and I keep taking it in for the same repairs all the time and throwing $150 a year at those repairs, plus if not more, with some of the items that I've had to buy to do my own fixes just to hobble by to get it to the next maintenance session. Anyway, so I'm done. I'm looking for another sewing machine, so hopefully by the next video I might have picked one out. We'll see. In the meantime, so that I can film this project, I'm switching over to my vintage Singer NLK 15, that's what it's called. And yeah, I had to watch a bunch of YouTube videos to reorient myself with how the heck this machine worked. So I even forgot that it could actually sew backwards. So in the middle of this project, I wasn't using the backwards function to secure my stitches. But then I learned, and we're good. Here is where we are going to start the flat felled seam. Sew a curved seam along the U about 1 to 2 inches. I'm sewing about 1 knuckle width. Cut half of the width of the top layer of fabric, making sure to avoid your seam stitches. Fold the longer under layer over the now shortened layer, and then fold over a second time. Pin in place. If you are new to doing the seam, you might want to iron the seam while you pin. It will keep everything in place. Sew along the edge, securing the flap down. Don't forget to pull your pins if you pinned vertically. Now you have a sturdy flat felled seam. Hem all the rough edges around the front and back panels of the pants. I'm starting with the top hem of the pants that will become the waistbands. I'm leaving the edges raw because it will be folded over again once I add the ties. I'm not sewing the side edges of the pants panels because I kept the curtain's original hem and I don't need to. Otherwise, you can double turn or double fold the edges and sew a straight stitch to finish your seam. Or you can leave the edges raw if you want a more rough and ragged look. Here I am cutting off the hemmed edge of one of the other panels and cutting them in half to use as ties. You will need 4 ties at least 24 inches long. You can also make ties with other strips of material or wide ribbon. To attach the waistband ties, I am laying the tie 2 inches from the top of the pants and sewing a box shape. Do this for each tie on the front and back panels of the pants, which should be 4 times. Next, I folded the top over and used a straight stitch to create a waistband for the front and back panels of the pants. Press your seams and hems. The key to a garment that looks well made is in pressing everything flat. To wear the pants, you can either wrap them from front to back by tying one panel around the front of your waist or hips. Then feed the flap through your legs and tie the waistband around the front or back, depending on how long you made your ties or your preference. You can also wear them by doing the opposite and tying the back flap on first.